Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. First of all, as per usual, a huge thank you for everybody that's watched yesterday's video. It's racked up 52 hits, views, whatever, in 24 hours, which is phenomenal. Really appreciate that, guys. And all the kind comments that you've put underneath it, specifically Rick, Scott, and on the Facebook page, as usual, Jason, Chris, and Guy, and Callie, and everybody else that put supportive comments on there. Thank you very much. I had a bit of a wobble yesterday, kind of watching it back and thought, oh God, it's not as good as some of the other ones. It was not one of my better efforts. But you've all sort of pulled me together yet again and told me that there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. So thank you so much for your encouragement and support. Nothing will change, Jason and Guy, I promise you. So you don't need to get in touch with Papa John's and cancel my pizza orders for the near future. So yeah, it's all going to stay exactly the same for the moment anyway. So as I say, thanks ever so much for all your encouragement. It does go a long way to keeping me going with this. Also thanks to Rick for sharing the video. I get the feeling that could be part of the reason why it's had so many hits. So I really appreciate that, mate. Thank you very much. You've obviously got more eyes on yesterday's video, so I appreciate that, mate. Thank you. Now then, what have I got here? Got my notes. If it seems a little rickety and a little wobbly today, like I've kind of thrown it together, it's because I have done. I've been making notes throughout the week on sort of what's been cracking off on the Facebook page and all that sort of thing, and I've misplaced them, so I had to do it all again this morning. So if it seems a little bit sort of flung together haphazardly, I do apologise, but that's exactly what it is. So we'll see how far we get. I've got my notes here. Let's see. First off, the juggernaut that is the top 10 list will keep on rolling for the moment. I've had two more through. I've had one from Jason Kerr. Is it Kerr, Jason? Doesn't really matter, does it? I've one from Jason, our friend from down under, the Ginger Ninja. It's a cracking list. I'm going to be recording that one probably straight after I've done this video, and it'll be posted next Saturday. So yeah, that's a list to look forward to. There are some cracking titles on there. And I've also had another one from Bridget Swift, one of my old schoolmates. And she's got some brilliant titles, and a lot of them have not been featured before on the top 10, so I'm looking forward to doing that one. So thanks for that, Bridget. Yours will be done, let's see, it'll be done next week, but published 2 weeks today, I think. This doing things in advance is brilliant, but I have to get my head around exactly where what's being posted and when. But yeah, the top 10s are going to carry on for at least another couple of weeks. I've got mine sort of half worked out, and that'll be ready for when I do actually run out. But I'm hoping some more folks do come through with the top 10 list. So if there's anybody out there that hasn't had a top 10 list done yet, get it over to me on Messenger, and I'll get that sorted for you. Let's see now. What have I got here? I've had two more Challenge Tonys. One was about 3 weeks ago, and I completely forgot about it. Dave Lowe, I do apologise. He stopped me at work and said, I've got a challenge for you. What it is to basically get some Kevin Smith movies watched. In the light of Clerks 3 coming out, I believe, on Blu-ray in December, he suggested maybe watching Clerks 1, 2 and 3. So I am going to get onto that one. Challenge accepted. I'm also going to finish his autobiography, which is fascinating. So I need to get onto that. And the other Challenge Tony is an unofficial one. It came about, I think we were discussing Rocky. I actually got round to watching the first Rocky movie yesterday. And there was a bit of a discussion going on below that post. I wasn't involved in it, to do with Rambo. We'd obviously got onto Rambo. And I'd always said that I'd seen, I think it was Rambo 4 or Rambo 5, whichever one it was, that involved his niece or granddaughter getting mixed up with a Mexican cartel, and him going down there and sorting them out. But it wasn't. Apparently, the one, I wouldn't say that I need to watch, but the one that everybody is warning me about is actually Rambo 4. I think its alternative title is John Rambo. Now, this wasn't an official challenge, but they were basically saying, I can't remember who it was now. Was it? I think it was Rick and Jason talking about this one, saying that there was no way I'd be able to get through it, and it'd be pointless me watching it. But surprise, surprise, I found a copy on Amazon for about £1.50, so I've snapped it up, and I believe it's uncut. So I am going to be taking a look at the Rambo movie that I've been dreading for months. As soon as it comes through, I'll take a look, but I'm fairly sure that I'm going to be watching most of it with my fingers in my ears, or like this, or with the volume down, or whatever. I pretty much know what I'm going to be in for. But as an unofficial challenge, Tony, I will watch Rambo 4, also known as John Rambo. So I will be taking that in as soon as it arrives. It's a Blu-ray as well, so it should be, all the violence and the gore will be in high def, which is amazing. Can't wait. They don't think I'll make it through the whole thing, but I think I will. One way or another, I will make it through it. If I can make it through Bone Tomahawk, I can make it through anything. So we shall see how we go with that, but I shall keep you posted on that one. Been loving the post this week, guys. There's been all sorts of stuff on there. What have I got here? Crap movies. Now then, there are two more that have shown up on the feed. I think, Jason, you posted this one, Demonic Christmas Tree. Well up for that one. Absolutely well up for that one. And apparently they've turned Shrek into a horror movie. I don't even begin to imagine what that's going to look like, but yeah, I'm up for that one as well. I do love these. There's just something about watching a crap movie that just does it for me. So yeah, Demonic Christmas Tree and Shrek the horror movie, which I don't think is titled yet, is one to look at. And obviously I am looking forward to Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, which is coming out in, I believe, February next year, getting a cinema release, but that'll no doubt end up on streaming at some point, so I will be taking a look at that one. What else have I got here? Yeah, that Dirty Harry post that I put on, I think I only put that one on last night. It's basically the scene right at the beginning of the Dirty Harry movie where Clint Eastwood is crossing the street to deliver that classic line, "Did I fire 6 shots or only 7?" Was that the line? Excuse me, I told you this was flung together, didn't I? Do you feel lucky, punk? That speech. And right behind him, playing at a cinema, is Play Misty for Me, which was his first, I think it was the first film he actually starred in and directed, which never in all the times I've seen Dirty Harry have I ever noticed that before. But I checked it out on the Blu-ray last night, and yep, it's there. So yep, love that. Rick, Old AF. The Old AF Witch Project. I am really curious about this. Is this going to be a short film or sort of a full-length feature? Yeah, my God, you've done yourself some damage there with this week, mate. Is that the forest scenes that have done that to you? I'm really curious just to see what this thing is going to look like. With you at the helm of it, it's going to be amazing, I'm sure. But keep us all posted on that, on how it's going. Is it going to be a full-length feature? Is it going to be more of a sort of a short film? Curious about that. Let me know on that one. Excuse me, keep looking down at my notes. As I say, they were hastily prepared this morning. Loving these. Who on earth came up with this thing of? I'll read you the ones that we've got at the moment. The Candy in the Van, which is John Candy sitting in the back of a van. Critter on the Shitter, which is a critter sitting on the loo. Jason in a basin. I think that was Chris's. And Freddie on spaghetti. What the hell? Where did this thing come from? I've never heard of it before. That's why when somebody put I think Freddy on Spaghetti was the first one to go up. I think that was sort of last weekend. And I looked at it and I did not get it. I did not understand what the joke was. And I had to actually, I think I put a post underneath saying I don't get it. And then he explained it to me and I thought, oh, right. And we've had a whole slew of them all through the week. And I'm loving them. The sillier the better. They make me smile. So keep them coming. Oh, talking of Jason in a Basin, the Crystal Lake series from Peacock. It is looking more amazing with each piece of artwork that I see. I am really, really looking forward to this. Apparently, it's a prequel to the original Friday the 13th movie, which is obviously my favourite out of all of them. But just looking at the artwork that's advertising it, I believe it's coming in 2023. It just looks more amazing with every image that I see. I can't wait to get a first peek at it. When they've actually completed filming it. I don't know when they are filming it. I assume it's going to be next year, or maybe it's being filmed right now. I don't know, but I'm really, really, really looking forward to that, just to see what they do with it. Whether we're going to go way back to the origins of Pamela Voorhees, and whether it's going to be set in Camp Crystal Lake, who knows? But I can't wait. I'd imagine if it's called Crystal Lake, it is going to be set in Camp Crystal Lake, but we'll see. Dave, you put a couple of interesting videos on this week, just Savage Zombie reviews. Mr. Creep, that trailer. Crap. Wow. What the fuck? I watched it, and I think I had pretty much the same reaction as you. It looks haunting, to put it mildly. That doll. What the hell? I'm going to put that trailer on the group a little bit later on, and you guys can let me know what you think of it. It's a found footage movie to do with students visiting a murder site or something like that, and it looks creepy as hell. I love found footage movies, absolutely adore them. Love the Blair Witch Project. I think possibly my favourite, or one of my favourites, would be the McPherson tape, which was an alien abduction type thing. And this was one of the very early ones. I believe this came out before Blair Witch Project, so it was, but I think it was after Ghostwatch. So, but yeah, the McPherson tape was really, really good. Mostly to do with a family living out in the middle of nowhere in America, in a farmhouse. They're celebrating the birthday of one of the family members, and they witness the landing of a craft on their land, and it's a kind of a siege ensues with the aliens trying to get in. It sounds silly, but it's not. It is really, really creepy. So if you've not seen that, it's called the McPherson tape. I think it's just had a Blu-ray release a few months ago. I'm tempted by it myself, but the movie had two endings. The ending I saw, I thought was really, really effective, really, really good. The ending that they've put on it now is completely different. It's good, but it's not as good as the original ending. I'm hoping that they put both on there, and you've maybe, with it being Blu-ray, I'm hoping they've given you the choice of watching the original cut, or I presume this is going to be some kind of a director's cut. But if you get a chance to watch it, it's called the McPherson tape. Well worth a look if you like found footage movies, Dave. Let's see. Loving the new and upcoming videos that you mentioned, by the way. I've seen Deadstream on, I think it's on Shudder, that one, and I do want to watch that. I'm going to be hanging on until, well, I'll see what you think of it first. Terrifier 2, not sure whether I've got the guts to watch that one or not. I've heard all the usual rumours about there have been people fainting at screenings and, you know, walking out because of the graphic violence and this, that and the other. So I'm a little bit sort of nervous of that one. Barbarian, I've heard really, really good things about, and I do definitely want to check that one out. And your Christmas horror movie thing sounds amazing. You've got Black Christmas, which I've seen and absolutely love. Seen that a few times. I think that was an early role for Margot Kidder, if I remember right, who ended up playing Lois Lane in the Superman movies. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Seen the original, but like you, I haven't seen part two, so maybe I do need to check that one out. You asked for suggestions on a fourth title. I'm going to give that one a little bit of thought because I've seen quite a few over the years. I couldn't think off the top of my head, and I bet I desperately wanted to get these notes written out and get this video done. So I will give that some thought, and I'll come back to you on that one. But yeah, looking forward to the Christmas movies thread, mate. That's going to be brilliant. So, Jason, you've been busy this week. Remakes. Fletch. I have seen it. I think I saw that one at the Odeon, actually, when it first came out. I didn't even know that there was a remake of that one. I won't be rushing to watch it, though, that's for sure. Let's see. St. Trinian's, the original, all the way. Alistair Sim as the headmistress. Just perfect. Rupert Everett kind of pulled it off, but when you're looking at comparing a film from sort of the late 50s, which is a classic black and white sort of Ealing style comedy, with something made in the 90s or the 2000s, no. I have seen the remake and it was all right. It passed 90 minutes, sort of made me laugh in places, but nothing like the original. So yeah, St. Trinian's the original all the way. Planet of the Apes, the 1968 original versus, I believe it was the Mark Wahlberg version. It's not even a question, is it? Nobody, I don't think anybody is going to say that they preferred the Mark Wahlberg remake from about 2001. I have seen it, and it was all right, but nothing compares. Nothing could possibly compare to the Charlton Heston original. It was just perfect. To me, perfect movie. Little Shop of Horrors. I have to confess, I've never seen either. I do know, I believe, I've got to be a bit careful here because I'm having people pulling me up on facts that I get wrong. So I need to be sure about this one. But I think the original black and white version was a Roger Corman movie, and I believe Jack Nicholson was in it. Feel free to pull me up if I'm wrong on that one. But I do remember the remake coming out on VHS. This was another one that came in while I was working at Premier Video in Stapenhill. And it didn't go out very often, and I never really bothered watching it. Rick Moranis is in it, I believe. Steve Davis, snooker player, for fuck's sake. Steve Martin played a dentist in it. Is Meatloaf in that one as well? I think he was. But I've not seen either. I wouldn't mind watching them though. The Witches, again, never seen either. This is a Roald Dahl based movie, isn't it? Kind of a kids thing. But I've not seen either version of that. I know Angelica Houston was in the original, and it's a favourite of a certain generation. I talk to a lot of the lads at work of a certain age who remember that movie as being a favourite of their childhood kind of thing, even though it was rumoured to be as scary as hell at the time. Nutty Professor, again, not really a question. I have seen the Eddie Murphy remake, but to me the Jerry Lewis version from 1963 will always be the best. It was just brilliant. You'll remember this, Bridget Swift. I think you commented on it. It was always on a Saturday afternoon. Do you remember? Sort of twice a year, you'd see the Nutty Professor on a Saturday afternoon, sort of a matinee performance, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely the original. And you also put, I think that was the end of the remakes for this week. You also put a post on 50 films from 50 years ago. I loved that. How many had I seen? 24, I think it was. I was really, really surprised. And I was really surprised at how many on that list I didn't recognise or I'd never even heard of. And as I said earlier, please keep that kind of thing going. If there's one thing I do love is people introducing me to movies that I've never heard of, and certainly never seen. And I'm not talking about the blockbusters. I know that I've not seen the rest of the Rockies and the Die Hards and, you know, Back to the Futures, and I know that I've not seen those. But nothing gives me more of a buzz than spotting movies like on that list and thinking, that looks brilliant. Why have I never heard of that? So yeah, keep that post coming. I'm definitely going to be looking into the other 26 and finding out what they're all about. Which kind of leads me on to a documentary that I watched this week on Amazon Prime called Out of Print. It's on the Freevee channel, which I believe used to be IMDb Movies, and it's the story of the New Beverly Cinema. Now, I put a post on earlier this week talking about my new passion project. I'll explain a little more about it next week because I want to make sure I've got this right in my head before I do it. But I watched the documentary called Out of Print, which was absolutely brilliant. It's to do with the New Beverly Cinema, which is, I believe, a revivalist cinema which screens purely old movies on double and triple bills and on 35mm rather than digital. And everything about this documentary made me wish that the New Beverly Cinema was not in Hollywood but in Burton, because this is the kind of place that would get me into a cinema pretty much every week, if not every night, near enough. I'll tell you more about it next week when I've got it all, as I say, all straight in my head. But there's a certain thing that I want to start doing, but I want to get it done right before I tell you what it is. But if you've not seen it, the documentary is called Out of Print. You'll find it on the Freevee channel. When you watch it, or if you watch it, I would imagine you would instantly think of me, because it is just my kind of place, and it is. And if you saw the kind of movies that they screen on there, I mean, where else would you find a triple bill, a Toby Hooper triple bill featuring the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, followed by Eaten Alive, which I believe was called Death Trap and was banned in the UK for many years, and The Funhouse, all on one bill. They also do, I might as well tell you now, just a little bit about it. The reason I watched Rocky, or the main reason I watched Rocky, was probably to kickstart this passion project, because one of their double bills was Rocky and Rocky 2. And I thought, you know what, they've been on at me for ages to watch Rocky. This is the perfect chance to do it and to kickstart this little passion project, which is to watch sort of double bills or more double bills based on what is screening at the New Beverly Cinema at the time. They do a podcast, I believe it's called Pure Cinema, and I am obsessed with it. I can't stop listening to it. These podcasts are usually 2 to 3 hours long, and it basically they go over the entire programme for the month, what is screening on certain dates. They discuss the movies. I have come away with so many titles that I've never heard of, and that I really do want to check out. And that's why I like that post of yours so much, Jason, because that basically led me right onto this subject, which is movies that I love people introducing me to films that I've never heard of. So yeah, I'll be talking more about the New Beverly. I'll probably become a New Beverly cinema bore over the next few months. But hopefully, I did say a long time ago when I first started doing these videos, that if I could introduce people to movies that they've never seen or heard of and will develop some kind of a love for, that my job is done. I know, Chris, you take a lot of notice of movies that what was the one you mentioned? There was one I mentioned yesterday, and you said you were going to put it on your watch list. Can't remember what it was, but I love that. I love the thought of introducing people to films that they normally never watch. Yeah, you'll be hearing more about the New Beverly Cinema over the next few weeks. I just hope I don't bore you all senseless with it. 2 quick bits of news before I wrap this one up. Goonies 2 is in development. how on earth is this going to work? The original Goonies are obviously, I would imagine, in their 50s by now. So is it going to be to do with their kids? Is it going to be to do with them? I'm really curious about it. I only watched the Goonies for the first time probably about a year ago. Took me ages to catch up with that one. Absolutely loved it. I've seen it a couple of times since. And there have been rumours floating around for years about a sequel to the Goonies. But nothing's ever come of it for one reason or another. Now, if that post that I put on this week is to be believed, it's in development and it's on its way. So I'll be looking into that, and I'll tell you more about that as I find bits and pieces out. Hopefully it will happen, but hopefully also they will do it right, because this is a movie. They wouldn't dare remake it, I don't think. This is such a beloved film. It's along the same sort of tracks as sort of Flight of the Navigator, Space Camp, that kind of thing. The kind of 80s movie that you don't really mess with unless you really do know what you're doing. But we'll see what comes of that. And the other bit of news, which I got quite excited about this one, Kevin Bacon has expressed a genuine interest in playing Freddy Krueger. He's told Robert Englund he's absolutely up for it. So how cool would that be? Kevin Bacon as Freddy Krueger. This could be the bit of news that that basically kickstarts this and gets it going again. Because the 2010 remake of A Nightmare on Elm Street, it was all right, but not a patch on the original. Here we go again. Originals, remakes and reboots. But with Kevin Bacon playing the lead, I think it could stand a very, very good chance of working, but we'll have to wait and see. I would imagine this is, whether it's even been sorted yet, I don't know, but Bacon has said to England that he would definitely be up for it, so we'll see what comes of that. Right, that's it for today. I'll be back again next Saturday. I should hopefully be recording that video very, very shortly, and I'll schedule it to drop on YouTube at around 8 o'clock next Saturday, and that'll be Jason Kerr's top 10. I'll also be showing you a couple of bits that I've been buying this week, and any other bits and pieces that come along. Hopefully I can put it together a little more professionally than I have this done. Look at this, I can barely read it myself. But we got there in the end. So right, thanks ever so much for joining me, folks. If you've enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and also subscribe. That would be absolutely amazing. Have a brilliant Sunday, and I will talk to you all again next week. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Take care. Ta-ra.